Marijuana, or hillbilly hemp, is the most profitable cash crop in the state of Kentucky. And if President Bush has not unleashed a war on poverty, he's certainly fighting a war on drugs.
3, 4, 5 plots right in there. Oh man, look at the size of that pot. Big and green.
Well, everybody count what he cut.
Like Peruvian troops attacking coca crops in the Andes, the U.S. military repeatedly hits the marijuana fields. And the reason National Guardsmen are used is that so many local sheriffs and deputies have been arrested for their part in the drugs trade, some believe they cannot be fully trusted.
That's what's running this county. That's what runs Leslie County. It's the next county over, Knott County. You can ask these lawyers, or my brother's lawyer here in town. You could ask him, and they all know what's holding it up right now, and that's it. It's pot.
My name's Gatewood Galbraith. I'm a candidate for governor in the May 91 Democratic primary.
Criminal lawyer Gatewood Galbraith says without serious government aid, the economy is in such a mess, marijuana growing should be legalized.
I want to license and tax marijuana as a cash crop and let our farmers make that money instead of these international criminal syndicates, and use this law enforcement, kick this crack, cocaine, heroin out of the state of Kentucky. My first day in office, I'll ground every helicopter this state owns. There won't be any helicopters hovering over the fields and gardens of the state of Kentucky when I'm governor. This is America, not Afghanistan. If a person has 3 or 4 children to feed and there's no employment available, or they're disabled and their workman's compensation has been left off, or if they cannot afford to commute the 50 or 60 miles to central Kentucky in order to have a job, they're going to do what it takes to feed those children and to get those children some clothes so they can go to school or put gas in their car. And growing marijuana offers these folks the very best opportunity to produce cash money which they can keep hold of and pay for those expenses. Necessity.
In 1988, this region voted for George Bush as president. A year or so later, a travel agent offered third world tours here for Americans to see the poverty at home. In the Gulf War, they found out what patriotic Americans were prepared to do for their country. Some here want to know what their country will now do for them.
That was Gavin Nestler. A quick look now at the day's other main news stories. The Environment Secretary Michael Heseltine has named the 14 authorities he plans to charge cap. There are 3 are Conservative, Somerset, Warwickshire and the minority-controlled Langbath. The other 11 are Labour, including Lambeth, which set the highest poll tax in the country. The sheriff in the Orkney child sex abuse hearing will decide tomorrow whether the case should go ahead. He also ruled that the first reunion between the children and their parents can take place on Monday. The author Graham Greene has died in Switzerland. He was 86. There'll be a full tribute to him in the Late Show immediately after Newsnight, including interviews with Anthony Burgess and other writers assessing his work. On the markets in London, the 100 index climbed to within 8 points of its all-time high, finishing at 2,519. That's up 31. In New York, the Dow closed down 18 points at 2,926. On the foreign exchanges, the pound was down more than half a penny against the Deutsche Mark at 2 marks 96.52. Against the dollar, the pound fell more than 3/4 cent to close at $1.77.1. No time for the papers tonight. Safe to tell you that they almost all lead on the plight of the Kurds. The headline in The Independent is UN abandons Kurds. That's all from Newsnight for tonight. Don't forget breakfast news, 6:30 tomorrow morning. We'll be back tomorrow night at 10:30, but for the moment, from all of us on the programme, a very good night to you.
Tomorrow night, 40 Minutes investigates news reporting of a different style when it cruises the late-night streets of New York with T.C. Sintrom, a freelance cameraman who records homicides, shooting, fires, in fact any sensational footage that he can sell to the TV networks. Video Vultures, tomorrow at 9:30.
To the tourist who visits Sri Lanka, the island can appear like paradise.
but beneath the surface a civil war blights civilian lives. As government forces take on the Tamil Tigers, there can be only losers.
The legacy of the civil war is that Sinhalese, Tamil and Muslim see themselves as victims of each other. They all want peace, but everyone lives in fear.
Innocence caught in the crossfire, Friday at 8 on BBC2. And by way of a further tribute to Graham Greene, on Friday night we'll be showing the film of his book, The Heart of the Matter. It stars Trevor Howard as the Deputy Police Commissioner Scobie. That's this Friday night at 11:20 here on BBC2.
Camera! Action!
Kenneth Anger is a hate figure for the Hollywood glitterati. His books, originally banned in his native America, raised scandal to an art form.
The stories that interest me are not just the sordid little stories of Hollywood.
Using remarkable footage and reconstruction, Anger exposes many myths of Hollywood's golden age, including the violent sexual misadventure that ended the career of the legendary Fatty Arbuckle. The tawdry side of Tinseltown. Kenneth Anger's Hollywood Babylon, 9:30 Friday on BBC2.
Well, now on to we join John Ketley for tonight's Weather View.
Good evening. Well, a real mix of sunshine and showers across the country today. Some places seeing hardly any showers at all, particularly around the coast, and other areas seeing quite a lot of heavy showers with thunder and hail. Southern uplands of Scotland seem to fare rather badly during the afternoon. Now you can see where the best of the sunshine has been, over 10 hours of it in fact, along the south coast of England and down through East Anglia as well. Aberdeen, well, not faring quite so well. You can see the clear skies across Britain. You can see a band of cloud across Germany there. You can also see more developments taking place out in the Atlantic. And this area of cloud and rain, heavy rain at that, is going to make relentless progress across the country tonight and through tomorrow. That's the way the weather chart's going to draw up by tomorrow lunchtime. Quite a deep area of low pressure really over Western Ireland, so hardly any wind at all in that eye of the storm, as it were. There's a lot of isobars around it, very strong winds in the southwest and some strong winds pushing up through northern Britain as well during Thursday. The strongest winds though tonight will be in the southwest approaches, running up through the Irish Sea and into Solway Firth, and a band of heavy rain too, with most places seeing some rain before the morning. Only extreme eastern parts will it stay dry, but clearer showery weather eventually getting into the west. Well, it'll be quite windy then. It'll also be quite cold for a time this evening. Temperatures around 3 degrees perhaps over northern England, but temperatures will very quickly start to rise, though there could just be a touch of frost way up there in northeastern Scotland. Well, the brightest weather tomorrow to start the day up in the northeast, but already brighter showery weather coming into southwest Ireland and also into the tip of Cornwall. But for many places it's going to be a cloudy start, and for many other areas it'll be a pretty wet one too. Some heavy rain running through Wales and up into southwestern Scotland. And during the course of the morning into the afternoon you will find that rain pushing relentlessly forward up through Scotland, but not reaching Shetland until about tea time. Now at the same time you will find brighter showery weather coming in behind, but a lot of showers are going to be very blustery showers, some strong winds around them, and they'll be merging at times to get some longer periods of rain. I think over Ireland, over Northern Ireland, southwest Scotland and parts of Wales as well, you will find very frequent showers coming through on that strong wind. So it's bound to feel colder tomorrow. Temperatures about 10 or 11 degrees over England and Wales, but as you head north, well, I think for some places it may not well exceed 7 or 8 degrees for much of the day. Well, that's Friday's chart, and you can see the area of low pressure still around. Very strong winds coming around its southwestern flank. There'll be gale force winds running into Wales and southwest England. A lot of showers around too. Some more persistent rain over northwestern parts of Scotland there. More persistent rain pushing southeastwards as we go through the day, and it's again going to feel pretty cold in that strong wind. It gets a little bit more complicated on Saturday. That area of low pressure pushes out of the way. Another one develops and swings in towards the country, and the track of this one at the moment is a little bit difficult to gauge. It could well come a little bit further north than this. Alternatively, it might just go over France. But at the moment we are expecting southwestern parts of the country to see some more persistent rain, whereas the rest of Britain stays in this mix of sunshine and showers. But again, some of the showers are likely to be quite prolonged, particularly out in the west. Well, looking into Europe for the weekend, you can see it's quite a mixed bag. Very strong winds running through central parts of the Mediterranean, the Mistral wind blowing through southern France. A lot of heavy showers, some thunderstorms scattered about as well, but on the whole I suppose these temperatures for central Europe not at all bad for the early part of April. Well, that's it from me. Bye-bye for now.
Well, now, just before we say goodnight and turn into a dot, here's a quick look at our lineup for Thursday night on 2. We begin at 6 on the lost continent of Atlantis for a spectacular adventure movie. At 7:30, your regional programme, and then at 8, comedy with the final episode in the current series of City Lights. At 8:30, the motoring magazine Top Gear reports from this year's Daytona 24-hour race in Florida and the Brands Hatch Business Driver of the Year award. Woe, woe and thrice woe. Frankie Howard is here at 9 with the classic 70s comedy Up Pompeii. At 9:30, 40 Minutes cruises the mean streets of New York with T.C. Cintron, a freelance video cameraman who records real life and death footage and then sells it to the TV news stations. At 10:10, we start a new series of the staggering stories of Ferdinand de Vargas, surreal comedies bounded only by the imagination of the writers, and each story having a central theme, starting with love and pandas. Newsnight has in-depth reports on the day's main news stories at 10:30, and with the arts in focus in The Late Show at 11:15. That's Thursday night, here on BBC2. Well, so now we come to the end of our entertainment for tonight on 2. However, for those of you that are looking for some late-night company, then don't forget our friends on BBC Radios 1 and 2. Bob Harris rocks Radio 1 until 2 o'clock in the morning, or you may prefer the gentler sounds of Bill Reynolds on a night ride through the night on Radio 2. As for us on BBC 2, we hope you've enjoyed our programmes tonight and that you'll join us again soon. For now, on behalf of all of tonight's team, this is Reg Sanders at the TV Centre in London, wishing you a very safe and peaceful night. Good night.